I'm Ben from Motel Coach, and I built training courses, hands-on services, and a huge library of free resources to help motels grow. Whether you're chasing more bookings, better guest reviews, or smoother operations, I've got you covered. If you want to jump onto Motel Coach, and we're going to go over and click on Motel Resources, and you can see we've got a huge library of resources for you to use. We're going to click on Front Office Checklist. Let's start at number 1. We're going to review the overnight activity, any guest voicemails, emails, or messages, and then we want to check if there's any handover notes from the previous team. This is a great chance to check if any incidents or key items need to be reviewed and actioned at the start of the day. Number 2, we're going to check our after-hour key return box, and we're going to process any checkouts and update the folios accordingly. By doing this process first thing in the morning, our housekeeping room list will be updated with rooms that have departed. This means that the housekeepers can access and clean the rooms that have departed on their sheets before needing to knock and disrupt guests. Next, we're going to go on to number 3. This one is a task to be completed throughout the day. We're going to check out guests as they depart, and we're going to send tax invoices for each guest as per their booking details. This is a key part of the role, and we recommend sending tax invoices to every guest. If they don't have an email, you can leave those, but for every guest that does have an email on file, we would send a tax invoice. It saves having to process one later, or for the guest having to contact us to request a tax invoice. As each guest departs, you want to check how their stay was, and you want to ask the right questions to get guests to open up about their stay. It's not just about getting them to say it was good, you want to get real feedback. By doing this, you'll identify faults, items missing from rooms, or ideas that you didn't necessarily have to improve the motel. We like something along the lines of this. Thanks again for staying with us, John. Do you have any feedback that we can use to improve for your next stay? This question leads the guest to provide feedback rather than just a generic "good thanks." As we finalize each guest checkout, we're going to finalize their minibar, remove any pre-authorizations, and finalize all charges. Once the guest has checked out, this will update the room to vacant dirty in the property management system. This will show up in the housekeeper room list if they have not been printed as a departed room. This will show up for your housekeeper room lists if you haven't already provided them for the housekeepers. If you have already printed the housekeeper room list, we would definitely make a note on the printed version for the housekeeper. If the housekeeper has already taken their list for the day, you could let them know that the guest has now departed. Any support you can give your housekeeping team to know which guests have departed will help them run a smooth day. Wish the guest well and invite them, where possible, to leave a review. If the guest has had issues during their stay, you would bypass this section. If it gets to checkout time and you've still got guests in-house, the first thing we normally do is check the property management system. Does the guest have a second booking for tonight? If they don't have a second booking, give them a quick courtesy call to confirm the checkout time. Be polite and soft in tone with the guest if they have stayed past the time. There is minimal cost to a late departure, and we'd like to look at it as an opportunity to get a great review and build a great experience for the guest. In the event the guest doesn't have a second booking and you don't need the room for a priority arrival, consider a communication message like this. Dear John, it's Ben from reception at the Peaceful Stay Motel. Our normal checkout time is 10 a.m., but we would like to provide a complimentary extension until 11:30 a.m. We hope you've had a great stay, and we will see you at reception on your departure. This message allows the guest a bit more time to get ready, and it's a good additional benefit you can provide with a very minimal additional cost. Number 4, we check and sign the cash float. If you have multiple staff on site, keeping consistent records of cash will save you time and issues. Trying to work out a discrepancy in the amount of cash held later is harder than on the day the discrepancy occurs. Motel owners do place a great deal of trust in their managers, and with good reason. Keeping daily income accurate isn't just about bookkeeping, it's about giving your owner complete confidence in how the business is running. When transactions are clear and the numbers always add up, it builds trust. We're now going to review the guests who are on departure. Ensure guest folios are settled or flagged for follow-up. In the morning before departure is a good time to ensure all departures are paid up and if not, can be followed up promptly. Number 7, we're going to print and review the arrivals list. This is the list of arrivals you've got for your motel for the day. We're going to identify and note any VIPs, early check-ins, and special requests. Your property management system should be able to pull a report which has all of these notes, and it should also populate any special requests that come through from channels like Booking.com and Expedia. We're now going to prepare our housekeeper room lists. The housekeeper room lists gives each housekeeper a list of tasks and rooms to clean for the day. And we're going to keep one master copy for ourselves. The housekeeper room lists will include departure cleans, stay-over cleans, and priority or rush rooms, VIP, and any scheduled deep cleans. When giving the housekeepers their list for the day, we suggest going through key communication items and a short training topic on an area you want the housekeepers to focus on. Consistent training will allow each housekeeper a better understanding of the standards expected. We organize the guest requests and allocate rooms earlier in the day where we can. This gives you space if you need to shuffle later in the day, and if you find rooms that are allocated incorrectly, you've got time to move them around to a more suitable room. Once it gets to 8 p.m. at night, if you need to shuffle a guest to another room and you're already fully booked, you'll often not be able to do the shuffle. Number 9, we're going to complete or we're going to schedule any required maintenance tasks. Often the on-site manager will need to complete some more basic tasks. We like to try and get some of these tasks out of the way earlier in the day before guests are due to check in. Once you have a maintenance officer do a repair task, it is important to re-inspect the room before guests are checked in or footprints left in the room. When scheduling outside trades to complete maintenance work, it is important to check that they have the appropriate license and insurance to undertake the work. We recommend setting up a basic spreadsheet to track the trades you're using and to keep a copy of the appropriate licenses and insurance documents on file. Provide the trade clear written instructions for each job they are completing and get them to sign or email through the confirmed pricing to ensure disputes are minimized. On Motel Coach, under Motel Resources, you can download our maintenance and compliance tracker, our work order form template, and our contractor sign-in and out sheet template. Number 10, handwritten notes. This step is optional, but it goes that extra step, and we highly recommend it. Handwritten welcome notes for guests on check-in is a simple and powerful way to make guests feel valued, whether it's a VIP, a return guest, or just someone celebrating a special occasion. You can include a personal touch based on the reason for their stay. Number 11, check the linen stock. As a motel manager, you might delegate linen ordering and stock management to one of your staff members, but it is always very valuable to track it yourself, especially as you're acclimatizing to a new property. Take note of what is needed and prepare a linen order. If you jump onto Motel Coach, we do have a guide to ordering linen at your motel. While you're in the housekeeping storeroom, check through the cleaning supplies and guest amenities stock. Again, we would set a basic stock tracker in Excel and be consistent with your stock checks. This will allow you to keep stock on hand and not need to go out for one-off trips. Number 13, we check the Global Distribution System, or GDS, and all online travel agent bookings. The first thing we're checking for is a contact number. As the day progresses and as you go into the evening, it will be harder to contact guests or the travel agent that booked their accommodation. Ensuring all contact details are correct earlier in the day will make sure that you're organized and will save you time and pressure later in the day. If you don't have a mobile number in particular for a guest, we would recommend calling the travel agent that booked. If you don't have a contact number for a Booking.com or Expedia booking, we would contact them through the extranet as the first point of call. Now we're going to hit up the system rollover. This is the process of closing out the motel's business day. Just like a till closure in retail, it includes finalizing payments, reconciling or matching your PMS and FPOS totals, and assigning the day's revenue to the correct reporting period. If we look at it from a very simple perspective, we're matching the payments you take from the guest on the FPOS machine and in cash against what you post in the property management system. We then allocate all of the revenue for a set day, and this helps the motel owner or accounting firm with the reporting. When you're running a rollover, it's always best to run trial rollovers on your FPOS machine. You never want to process a complete rollover until you know that both totals from your FPOS machines and your property management system are matching. Taking this extra step to do a test will save you more time and will avoid errors. Going back to the cash float, as we were talking about before, your rollover is also a trust builder with the owner. Being consistent and accurate with your rollover will build trust and accountability. Let's go through the rollover step by step. We're going to start with the PMS, or Property Management System, trial rollover. We're going to go into the PMS end of day, and we're going to go into the shift closure section. We're going to run a trial rollover, not a final one yet. We're going to check the room revenue total, payments by type, credit card, cash. We're going to match up any voids, discounts, or refunds that have been processed. We're going to print the end of day settlement or reconciliation summary. This shows the total card payments processed through the terminal for the day. We're then going to compare the totals. We're going to match these totals between the PMS and the FPOS machine. We're looking for discrepancies between any of the payment methods. If they don't match, you first want to understand, is the FPOS machine higher or lower? If your PMS and FPOS machine don't match, first check were any payments missed or entered in the wrong system. Was a cash payment recorded as a card in error? Were there any duplicate transactions? Understand if your FPOS machine is higher than your PMS. It might mean that you've taken a payment in your FPOS machine, but you haven't yet recorded it in your property management system. And vice versa. You might have receipted a payment in your property management system, but you haven't yet processed the payment in your FPOS machine. You can also look at refunds. Have all refunds been processed on your FPOS machine and property management system? Your rollover reconciliation is a simple process. Under pressure, it can become confusing. Make sure you always break it down. Tick off each card type. So you'd have Visa. Does your Visa match on your property management system and in your FPOS machine? Does MasterCard match up in your property management system and on your FPOS machine? If you take a methodical approach, you'll be able to work out any discrepancy without too much trouble. Number 15, communicate with your housekeeping team. Communicating throughout the day with your housekeeping team as things change is critical. If you have departures, let your housekeepers know. If you have a guest extend their stay, let your housekeeping know. The last thing you want your housekeepers to do is clean a room where a guest is going to stay anyway, or for your housekeepers to enter a room that's requested late checkout. So if a guest does request late checkout, make sure you let your housekeeper know. Or if your guest has certain times of the day they want their room cleaned, let your housekeepers know. Communicate, communicate, communicate. The next step with your housekeeping communication is to get them to communicate with you. Make sure they let you know if guests aren't checked out on time. Are priority rooms on track to be cleaned, or is the guest still in that room and hasn't departed on time yet? The more your housekeepers can communicate with you, the more succinct your motel will operate. Number 16, we're going to review emails, OTA messages, and respond to guest reviews. Guest reviews and OTAs are a big one for me. They drive so many bookings and can make such a massive difference to your motel's performance. Being responsive on channels like Booking.com and Expedia actually improve your rank and get you more bookings. So make sure you're responsive. If a guest requests early check-in, let them know either way. If your policy is not to allow early check-in, just send them a quick message. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we're not able to arrange an early check-in. Responding to guest reviews. Keeping in mind that when we respond to guest reviews, we're responding to future guests that are going to book our accommodation as well. How we respond shows how we operate our motel. If we're thoughtful, caring, and proactive and take an approach that we want to fix, improve, that's going to resonate well with future guests. Number 17, we want to balance our rooms and adjust rates. We want to look at the arrivals for today, but we also want to look at arrivals for the next 7 days. We want to ensure we have a good mix of rooms available for guests. And we also want to shuffle rooms to ensure that guests that have certain requests can be accommodated. Look at it from a few different perspectives as well. Look at ground floor and first floor. If your motel is set over 2 levels, you want to always keep a balance of ground floor rooms available to ensure that any guests with limited mobility can still book in. If you're fully booked out of your corporate rooms midweek and you're unlikely to get a family room booking, you might look to shuffle some of your guests into the bigger rooms to open up the entry rooms for corporate bookings. And then finally, we want to balance our rooms so that we have a range of types available as well. Twin rooms, doubles, family rooms. Having a wide arrangement of your available room types listed online will maximize the potential number of bookings that you can take. And pipe work. Adjusting rates. This isn't a straightforward area within the motel. You need to first look at the relationship. If you reduce the room price by $10, for example, how would that affect the demand for your rooms? Don't assume that reducing your rate will instantly increase demand. Oftentimes, motel managers will associate a reduction in rate by $10 with bookings coming in, whereas often these bookings will be coming in whether the $10 is reduced or not. Keep in mind that every motel has a group of guests which are the regulars. These regulars will stay with you whether your rate is $10 more or $10 less. By reducing your rate, you're cannibalizing these bookings. You're losing revenue because you've dropped the price and they would pay the price. So here's a few discussion points and questions we can go through before changing room rates. The first one, where is my price compared to my competitors? If I'm currently priced in the range as my competitive set or competitors in my area, I might look to keep my prices. Do I want to price more expensive and develop a perception of quality? The higher your room rates are, often guests will associate that with a better quality product. So don't always assume that reducing prices will develop more bookings. Often a higher price might actually target a category of guests that you want. Do I want to price cheaper and target budget travelers? Be wary of discounting. As you drop your price, you might activate a price war with your local competitors. If they see that you're pricing less than them, they might bring their price down to match yours. You're now taking the same number of bookings, but you're taking a lower rate and your property is going to be generating less revenue and your expenses will remain the same. We want to look deeper into price as well. Do corporate travelers have a budget set? If their budget is $150 and our normal room rate is $170, is it justified for us to drop our rate? These questions need to be analysed on a case-by-case basis. On motelcoach.com, we do have a room rate calculator. This gives you a bit of an understanding of how rates and occupancy can combine to form different profit levels based on the pricing you set. Number 18, process virtual credit card payments. We want to process our VCC payments in line with the Motels policies. Look at your property's specific policy. If you refund Expedia and Booking.com guests that check out early, you may look to charge VCCs on departure. If after check-in you never do any refunds, you might charge them on check-in. If you have any difficulty charging a virtual credit card, there's 2 steps I like to first go through. I'd check the extranet and make sure the rate is correct. And number 2, I'm going to make sure that the VCC is in my local currency. If the currency the card is in is different, you would need to check a exchange rate calculator to make sure that the amount you're charging is not different to the amount that's actually on the card. Number 19, front desk presentation. Maintaining a clean and organized reception area is one of the guests' first impressions of your motel before they even see a room. Make sure you're always wiping counters and surfaces. Organize the key storage and label as needed. Display any awards the motel has received. Tidy brochure displays and local tourist information. I like to always minimize clutter. There's so many things going on in a motel. It's very easy to have a cluttered reception desk. Number 20, keys returned. Ensure all keys are now returned to the office. If a key is missing, the first step is to get the housekeeper that was allocated to that room to check their trolley. Recheck the key drop box. And then finally, if the key is not present, reach out to the guest. It is important to handle key matters straight away and avoid using rooms if they are not accounted for. If a key goes missing, we suggest a lock barrel change as a priority to avoid security issues for your motel room. This will occur regularly where keys are lost or guests take them with them. Number 21, we're going to refill any guest welcome packs and prepare any breakfast bags for the next day. Many motels will not have these tasks, but it is good to think about how it would look in your day-to-day schedule if you were to implement it. Add payment instructions for all bookings on arrival. We go through your arrivals and add in notes for all bookings. It is important to have consistent formatting of your notes, especially in motels where you have different staff on reception. We're then going to print registration cards. The registration card takes key guest details that they can fill out on arrival. Many modern property management systems will have a digital check-in process available. Talk with your motel owner and see if they're interested in exploring this option. 24. We're going to inspect cleaned rooms and report any issues to the housekeepers. If a housekeeper misses something on their room and they're still on site, it's always good to get them back to the room and run through it with them. When you're checking rooms, ideally you want to check all rooms that are cleaned and due on arrival for that day. If you're short on time and can't check them all, we would recommend inspecting the rooms that have specific requests. As the size of the property you're managing increases, you will have more staff to support you, and you might have a housekeeping supervisor or manager. It is important to consistently provide feedback for your housekeeping team. This will keep them on track and you will be able to maintain the standards you want. Number 25, we're going to monitor group and long stay bookings. We want to make sure that the group payments are up to date in line with the terms and conditions of their booking. And check long stay bookings are paid up to date. Having large bookings or long stay bookings not paid up to date creates risk that a guest might not pay and leave. Or if a group cancels and they haven't paid as per the terms and conditions, it makes getting payment more difficult. Number 26. We're going to print the next day's arrivals and housekeeping forecast. We want to make sure that we've got adequate housekeeping coverage for the following day. If not, communicate with the staff while they are still on site, and where possible, schedule additional team members. If it's a busy day, consider rescheduling or prioritizing non-essential cleaning tasks to ease the workload and maintain turnaround times on your. Review the assigned rooms. Reassign rooms if the initial allocation doesn't meet the guest needs, and proactively contact the guest if any request is unclear or cannot be met. Identify any missing details, e.g. phone numbers, and contact the guest in advance if needed. While the arrivals are checked on the day of arrival as well, pre-checking guest information and requests the day prior to arrival may allow you to avoid issues and will also help you better allocate and adjust rooms as required. Arrivals. The guest experience begins at the front desk. It sets the tone for their entire stay. Always greet guests with professionalism, warmth, and a genuine kindness. Remember, they've chosen to stay at your motel. They often have many options, but they're paying for your room. Consistently offering a welcoming and appreciative attitude, you'll build trust, encourage repeat bookings, and reduce the reliance on third-party platforms. The guest check-in process. We're going to greet the guest warmly, by name where possible. We're going to check their photo identification. We like to run through a quick booking check. We confirm their booking details. By doing this, we can avoid allocating them into the wrong room or making a mistake with the check-in. We check the number of guests staying in the room, the length of stay, the room type booked, the total cost of the stay, and any inclusions such as breakfast, Wi-Fi, or welcoming drinks. By doing this, you'll avoid many issues around pricing, room type, or length of stay. While we do this, we're going to complete the registration card. Parts of the registration card will be already filled out through the PMS or the information provided by the OTA. And use this as an opportunity to double check and confirm key details: full name, email, mobile number, company name, and a signature. We like to highlight the required fields for the guest to fill out. This saves them time, as most PMS registration cards have additional fields our property does not require. Don't be afraid to offer upsells or value adds. Look at what guests want rather than your room types. Look at selling quiet rooms. Look at selling rooms with a bath. This can be an opportunity to add additional revenue to your rooms. We're going to take the payment and we're going to update the PMS and record any guest preferences. Issue a room key and guest materials, and we're going to provide the guest a quick orientation of the property. Respond to in-house guest inquiries and maintenance requests. This is an ongoing responsibility that should be managed throughout the day. When a guest submits a complaint, maintenance issue, or general inquiry, ensure it is actioned promptly. Once resolved, follow up with a brief courtesy call or message to confirm the guest is satisfied. Proactive follow-up not only shows professionalism, but also helps prevent minor issues from escalating and can lead to improved guest reviews and repeat business. Number 29. Check for new bookings or any unassigned rooms. Number 30. We're going to prepare late check-in envelopes or as per your property procedure. From a guest safety and security standpoint, leaving room keys indoors, under doormats, or inside rooms is strongly discouraged. This practice creates a significant risk. If the key is intercepted by an unauthorized person, your guest's safety and your property's reputation are both compromised. Instead, we recommend using secure key safes for after-hour check-ins with individual access codes that are changed regularly to prevent tampering or unauthorized access. Do a final check on petty cash, make sure it's counted, logged, and finalized for the day. We recommend keeping a logbook or register on Excel. Number 32, end of day closure procedures. We're going to check one last time to make sure no bookings have dropped in. We're going to review our PMS. If any have, promptly contact the guest to confirm their estimated time of arrival and arrange for an after-hours check-in if required. If your property requires it, set a stop sell in your PMS to prevent bookings after a certain hour across all platforms. Secure keys, paperwork, and guest data. Lock everything away. Confirm that your after-hours contact information is available, clearly visible to guests needing assistance outside of office hours. Update exterior signage. If the motel is fully booked, turn on the no vacancy sign. Check that all signage is illuminated and clearly visible from the street. Lock the storerooms and shared facilities. Secure all maintenance rooms, linen stores, and any other staff-only areas. Secure the pool area. Confirm the pool gate is properly latched and self-closing. Or lock the area entirely if local regulations or safety protocols require it. We've now gone through the full front office daily checklist. This checklist is certainly more targeted towards the motel manager running the property, but for any receptionists or front office agents listening, it's a great resource to understand all of the processes and moving parts in the organization. This is Ben from Motel Coach. Don't just watch, take action, subscribe, and let's make your motel the one everyone is booking.